single series, very, very tight. You had 2 Game 5 round 11s to put you 2-0 in week number 1. And in that series versus Cloud9, you were in the lead a majority of all of map number 1. You lose it. You go all the way to a round 11 in Search and Destroy 6-5. You lose it. So it's just tough for them. Now you're going up against, like you said, a different beast in Thieves. You got to be able to bring the slaying.
Well, let's get wild. Let's get weird. It's red card hardpoint. Expect the engagements to happen early, often, if not all the time. And so far, the Thieves, perfect. First 3 eliminations go their way, given the first 4. Envoy getting a little bit of zonage over towards the hedges as the rest of LAT just locked down the middle. A ticket in the blink of an eye. A perfect start for LAT.
Yeah, this is all you want to do, though, on the map like red card is dominate over towards this hedges area, because this is basically how you control the first 4 hills on this map, as that's been 20 uncontested seconds so far. Minnesota trying to work their way in through ticket, but not finding success in any of the slaying departments, as it's more effective trades coming in from the Thieves.
Slaying department, they're already for Minnesota, dude. The 1 kill, 1, a single elimination to this point. And I was gonna kind of try to find some time to do this, but when you get a team like Thieves, I mean, we're our 4th game into their season, and they're already sitting there saying, nah, like, we lost 1 hardpoint map. Unacceptable. If a team's got that much discipline, that much kind of dictation towards what they want to do in respawn, that's terrifying, and so far they're showing us every level of that.
And the way that they lost that hardpoint map was a grueler. Obviously, Atlanta FaZe were able to force that game number 5 off of an insane comeback, so they're probably thinking we should be undefeated in this mode. And I'm pretty sure I heard Sender tell me that they haven't lost a hardpoint in like 3 weeks, even in practice. This team is undeniable. You can already see it in this map number 1. 25 seconds still to fight for here at P2. All 4 dead in the feed for the Thieves. Spawns flip. Minnesota Rock are not having a good time.
Yeah, the instant pickup on the flip timing. Hydra able to turn around from inside the hardpoint will be pushed out for a moment. Envoy already worried about New, though. And yeah, this has been absolutely textbook for how you play a red card hardpoint. Minnesota just not having a good time whatsoever. I mean, we say this all the time. You put yourself in this position where you're always spawning behind the old time, you are in the definition of hell. They will get Nero, kind of surprisingly, spawning behind the hardpoint. He'll take 1 out of the old time, but where do the spawns happen from here? And it looks like they will flip just a touch. Maybe a moment here for Minnesota.
Yeah, but you would take this if you're the Thieves. You could trap them in towards the back, just 1 set of kills. You can soak up all this time and then win the rotation over towards New. And here comes Hydra to start it off. He's able to find 2, make it 3, all 4 dead now in the feed. Minnesota in the trap again.
I mean, Paco shooting bodies. You think they're feeling good about this opening? Well, here's some more instances to try to get Hydra a little bit hot. He's going to get aggressive on it, too. Astriel shuts him down. No immediate trade leads to a double, plus the follow-up from Paul X. So, okay, Minnesota, this is what you need. A little bit of a lifeline, a little bit of breathing room here to try to finish off the old time at 3, and then still, of course, rotate to your back to the new hill.
Yeah, Final 15 is great and all, but you need this wave of kill so you can win that rotation over towards New. Thankfully, Gio finds a double, Estriel with the 3rd. So Minnesota starting to come alive in this game. 2 players on 3 in a row. If Estriel now going to put himself all the way towards the top 3 story. He knows that his teammates already won the rotation, but now how long can you hold?
Yeah, it's the big question. Minnesota has routinely fallen victim to being heavily outslayed in their hardpoint games. You go back to their opener versus LAG, they're outslayed by 20 plus, but still won the game in heroic fashion. So need to try to pick things up in terms of matching the firepower of LA Thieves, and as they need it in this 50-50 battle, all the gunfights go the way of the Thieves, who have now broken onto the 30 seconds remaining of the hill.
You could just tell how on Estriel's screen right there how annoying that situation was. You're looking left, there's someone there from Thieves shooting, you can't find an angle on them. You look right, okay, someone's there, someone top window as well. It's just Thieves were so dominant on the map control there around this P4 that they were able to find a break with ease. But Minnesota on the back of Gio finding 3 over towards Hedges side, able to work their way right back in. What was such a dominant start from the Thieves, Minnesota are keeping themselves in this game.
And that's the thing I think we've really kind of come to know narratively about this Minnesota team is down but not out. They continue to find ways to get games back to within the possibility of swinging things around. Nero, good win inside of cameras. Follow-up from Estriel's decent. Now here comes the full pinch. Envoy backing away from the hard point, trying to just find an even 1v1 across this open hard point, and it's not going to happen. Minnesota really starting to step up.
And the guns are starting to get a little bit hot, but that's why you got a player like Scrap on the LA Thieves roster, able to find an opening double. That's going to lead to an early break for the Thieves. Envoy's going to find the freebie onto Paul X. Thank you very much. Almost a turn and burn onto Nero. It's still a 15-point game. You're finding all these kills. Minnesota just keeping you off the point.
Yeah, a couple of really nice individual moments from the Thieves. You had Scrap off to a hot start, follow from Hydra, we saw most of that, and then Envoy kind of in the last couple of the hills have had a couple of individual moments, but we still have a pinstripe kill feed here. Back and forth we go. Final word, though, over the last 10 seconds will be owned by Ghosty. 12-9 on 3 in a row. Scrap time to LA as they break past the 100-point mark, and now again, take an eye on the minimap. Everyone looking to fight for that hedge position like you called out when we were here last time, Jay.
Yeah, Rocker need this hedge position now. They cannot get dominated the way that they did last time around. 2-2 split in the kill feed so far. Thieves currently in control of the hard point, but here's just more bodies on the correct side of the map. They're going to continue to soak as long as they dominate this right side street.
Yeah, the exterior of the hard point cleared, so now you go in towards the inside.
Hello.
Thieves cleaning things up. Hydra for a double. Scrap following up. And well, with this, Thieves once again dominating from the outside, looking in as we head over to a Los Angeles Thieves. Listen in.
Ticket weak.
I'm trying to get in ticket.
Went to yellow hedge.
He's in ticket still. He's in the cubby of time. One shot, cubby of time.
Top yellow.
One shot, cubby of time.
Top.
Right on it, yellow.
Yellow dead.
Still on the door. I flipped that sees.
Need door in time.
The door time, need it.
The door dead. Nice. There's that time. Take
Nice.
it.
Yeah, security. He's going default. He went their default. He's naded their default. One shot. One shot their default. No, one shot their default. All their default.
Nice.
I'm trying to stage.
I'm
100% sage.
shot him. I'm shot him. Watch their stage. They're stage. They're low stage.
They already pay phone.
SG's one shot. What? Go payphone.
Oh, time.
Payphone.
Stage. Nice.
Yo, one's payphone. I'm playing for him.
I'm staying on stage.
Yo, one guy's gonna be low stage though.
I got
Yeah,
time.
Paul. Yellow hedge, guys.
Probably time.
Yellow hedge, kill me.
You know where?
Hydra cafe.
I'm spawning in the back.
Cafe dead.
I'm going to mid. I'm going to mid.
Stage, behind me. On
Yeah,
time,
go
he's a
mid, go
goalie. Goalie and
One
stage.
close sidewalk as well.
Goalie and stage.
I got the ticket. 1 sec, guys.
Sidewalk. One shot. They got it.
Absolute stage.
One shot,
pitching yellow
zero.
stuff. I'm killing- I'm pitching
Security,
yellow.
one shot sidewalk.
The doors and
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk in time.
yeah, sidewalk on red heads. Red hedge.
And then in the goal,
Mid door. Mid door. Absolute.
RC mid door. RC mid door. Mid door.
Don't time this.
nice.
Is there all spawn in the back?
That's for me, Jesse.
Yeah, the
Jesse.
spawning jersey.
I'm
I'm going.
yeah.
backing all the way up, boys. I'm going deep, by the way.
That's fine.
Actually, I'm gonna get in a spiral yard.
Okay, get spiral. I got time.
I'm died from yellow hedge. Yellow steps on.
Yo, steps in.
Nice, good job.
Mid on me then.
Missing Geo and Estro, guys.
One
I'm
more mid.
gonna spawn on
Red
hold.
edge.
Alright, missing Geo for sure.
Ezreal.
Red hedge. Dead.
Nice.
Inside ticket.
Spawn in.
He's going
Back.
top yellow.
Little bit of separation for the Thieves throughout our second hard point, but as we rotate over, Minnesota fully set up and ready to go as we head over to a rocker. Listen it.
Middle dead. He's gonna be S3.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up your S3. S3 pops loaded. I'm on third. I'm gonna give me a sec. I'm going now.
One down. Here goes straight. Close. One shot. Good try.
Okay, there's two low stairs. I'm starting an 80.
He could be out on us.
One top.
I see nothing out there. I see top. Oh, no, wait, dead.
Get this on. They're gonna be close to outer. Get middle of phone. I got mid. I have all middle. Outer, damn, there's two. I got one mid outer. Get your outer. I have outer mid top. I have all mid top. Outer, dead.
Low top. Hydra. Alright, let's go.
I'm holding mid. You guys play doing shit, okay? One shot, there's two there. Dan there too. He's challenging.
Hey, went to the right.
I'll get new.
I know an eight.
I'll get new.
And
I admit it.
Any kills,
They might spawn A's. Get time. Get to them.
They be out
Any
on
kills, they're gonna start spawning A's and D. Nice.
Okay,
Falcon
shit.
wasn't spawn A's and D then.
I'm back in.
Alright,
I'm backing up.
I already.
Okay. 2B
I
search.
got one middle. One time right now.
I'm up in mid.
Arm mid. Then. There's two dead. One on me. I'm winning scrap.
Metro Frost.
I'm boy.
He should be out of
You low or no?
No, AC.
Angle,
Envoy.
Yeah, you lower me.
They got split. They got split.
Top mid.
Oh, scrappy affair here, and not to mention the player. Minnesota just continue to find ways to keep this close as Esther will be pushed onto the hard point, Jay, with 20 seconds to fight for. We got a dead tie game.
Yeah, Minnesota's in this, man. It all started with the end of that P3. The fact that they were able to trap them in towards the back, give themselves a free rotation over towards New, has kept themselves in this game. And obviously the slaying is helping. When you're getting kills out of Nero, Giro, and now Estrio pulling out that third or fourth AR. He's also finding a couple kills as well. So basically a tie game as we head over to that fifth hill.
Initial time trying to be found by Ghosty. Gonna get a read onto Justice. That's Estriel who falls. Nate also would have been well placed towards Paul, but banks off the window frame. Scrap following up off 4 in a row. Has Estriel at range, but another shutdown comes through. So again, just when you start to think the Thieves are about to cook up a setup, here's the break for Minnesota. Equal affair over the top of the new hardpoint. Ghosty turning tides with a double. Envoy trying to hang, but Nero will drop, and Ghosty once again has a chance to get more time for the Thieves.
Yeah, this is where the Thieves can start to run up that score a little bit. Very difficult to try to break your way through Ticket on the backside of that B site. Can someone find an opening for Rocker? Everyone rallying on the right side of your mini-map, but 3 down in the feed. The ARs from LAT turning up to a whole different level. That's going to be a flawless 40-second hold. You blow the game wide open once again if you are LA. And now you're going to be able to breach that 200-point mark with the rotation over towards P1 and a lot of presence already at hedge.
Have to win this battle for the outside. Ghosty just staying very patient. Up top in the windows, he can make a choice. Does he want to help the hill? Does he want to help the outside? Just comes down to what his teammates call. And he's going to get a freebie on a Geo. Long-range shots towards Nero. Tag him up. That's enough for Hydra to follow for the kill. Ghosty looking for his 5th in a row and will secure it. One more around the backside. Pistol off for Ghosty, who almost gives Estriel the 1-2 punch, but not to be. Minnesota desperately need the break, though.
Yeah, they need to find a break, and they need to find it quickly because these can still close out here on P1. And as soon as I say that, 4 dead in the feed. Where do the spawns come in for the Thieves? Not the ideal situation you want to be in, but still the 30 seconds to fight for. Minnesota need all this time.
Yeah, the Thieves, they want to challenge this, and they're getting punished for the decision. Nero for 2. Estriel following up. Spawns are still over towards the bottom right, though, for the Thieves. 13 seconds of scrap time to fight for. The Thieves try to push through. Paul holding on towards top edges. What does he see? Opening shots towards Hydra. Able to finish it off. Now he's got to try to secure the kill on Envoy. Not going to happen. And it's just down to Nero, who does hold strong ground for Minnesota to spawn right on top of him.
Yeah, Minnesota still giving themselves opportunities. You just need one more wave of kills and you can trap LA towards the back end. But do you know the positioning of Scrap? Playing super patient for Geo. Finally, a couple shots are going to go down. He's going to give it up and unfortunately not be able to find a kill. So Minnesota doing what they need to do. They just need to get in a hard point.
What can Geo find around the back here? He has gone uncovered and unnoticed. Catches Ghosty for free. Follow up from Scrap. Good off the trade. Plus one more. Now Hydra is on the pinch. Paul shut down at stage. Good clearance around the hill here for LA. Nero over the top. Doing what he can. He does well to catch a couple. Long range shots from Hydra. Not quite centered up, but Ghosty gets the double. And with that, Thieves can still win it right here.
Yeah, it might be good enough to win it right here. They had them trapped towards the backside. Only 10 seconds needed to LA secure this map. Number 1, Minnesota gotta go.
Trying to flood on from the front. They take the remaining Thieves members off the hill for now. Contest in. Ghosty trying to pre-fire down Estriel. Follow-up from Scrap is decent, but the Thieves will not be able to get back to the hard point in time to win it here. Spawns will move just a touch. Ghosty spawning behind, but you've got LA already on the new time. Envoy just has to win this 1v1 versus Nero. Does not expect him coming from the side door, though. Follow-ups are good from Estriel. Hydra trying to put the game away, but he gets shut down, and now the Thieves are subject to a potential spawn trap.
And now Minnesota needs to do exactly what they did on the second rotation of these hard points. Trap them as long as you possibly can. Do not allow them to win. Only need 2 seconds to close out this map. Number 1 is LA, but you see the kill feed. It's all purple. Hydra's able to strike for 1. Hydra's able to strike for 2, and this might be it.
Nero's got to try to get back into the hard point here. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot allow this contest to come through. First shots are deep.
Oh my!
Oh, over the top. Double. The map will continue just a little while longer. Maybe a natural pinch developing. Envoy spawning out from the rest of his teammates, trying to get some damage done. Does LA try to win this hard point right here? Nero still holding strong inside the hill. Estro trying to follow up. It's still only at 248. You gotta rotate though at the same time. Can they get there? Hard point's about to open. What do the nades look like over the top? It won't make a difference. Envoy has stayed safe, and the Thieves will sneak out a near win as Minnesota continue to fight. And even see Scrap like, whoa, that got too close for comfort.
Thieves have been having some grueler hard points so far this week. But thankfully, the heads-up play out of Envoy to be the sole man that spawns out just simply stays alive. He gets 1 kill on a player that wins, that's trying to fight for that rotation, and then that 1 kill, he's now spawning on the backside of P3. You're staying alive in that position, so when your teammates are falling at the old hill, they're now spawning on you. Such a great heads-up play for Envoy to still not approach that old hill, realizing, okay, we can win with 2 seconds. We still have an opportunity there. No, he was thinking about the big picture. How can we guarantee the W? And just staying alive at that new hill at P4 allows all of his teammates to spawn in, secure the final 2 seconds. 15-point difference in that map. Number 1, it got a little dicey towards the end, but the Thieves, they take it.
There's just something about this Minnesota team. I mean, it starts off horribly. I mean,
Yeah.
worst possible situation. First 9 kills, I think, go to the Thieves. And then eventually you get to P2 and it's like an 80-point game and you're like, oh gosh, Minnesota, what is happening? And then P3, P4, they do enough to get this game back to within about 20 points, and they just chip away little by little. We saw the same thing happen when they played Gorillas in their opener. They've done it a couple of times since then, but they just do not roll over and die. This team's got a lot of fight built in them.
They definitely have a lot of fight built in them, and that's what I love about this roster, because I was on one of these rosters back in the day that usually no one had high expectations on. Basically a roster that nobody wanted, but sometimes that's the perfect recipe for some kind of success. And even though they fall short in this map number 1 versus probably the best team that we have in the game, they play them well all the way to the very end. And if you look at the stats, no one's really going positive besides Gio by a couple kills. So if you have a little bit better of a start off, you're keeping yourself in this game and potentially walking away with this map number 1. But I think the game plan was just a little bit misread right there out of Minnesota, because the domination out of the Thieves on that P1 hard point was the game changer. They could not find any success on that P1 over towards Hedge, and that was the difference maker.
Yeah, I think it's just the kind of, where do you focus on the overall venue and those mixy hard points, right? P1 in particular, I think it really is. Again, dictated by who controls the exterior. It allows those new players off spawn to come back in and know exactly what to look at, and that seemed to have obviously been a major difference maker in the opener, plus the second time that we were there. Here's a look back, though, over this series layout. We've got Vault, and of course, everyone's excited to see our second overall instance of a protocol control. I will say, we talked about this, we're looking at the vetoes, Jay, and the Thieves had the choice of what they wanted to play for control. They opt to go to the protocol here. So there is this level, after hearing them talk about that hard point performance was not good enough when we last played, and we're throwing a protocol control in the mix, it looks like this team is really trying to maximize their map pool.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, because they played every other map besides protocol control. So they decided in this series, even though they were the better seed, to choose Team B. And currently with us only having 2 control maps, that Team B just basically chooses whatever control they want to play. So they decided to throw protocol and make it a little bit mixy, because on the opposite side for Minnesota, we watched them in that C9 series on Vault. Nera was like a 15 in a row. They beat him in 5 minutes of a control. Yeah, I don't want to play you there. Let's just go to protocol.
Yeah, I like the call. Well, taking a look at least this vault coming up for map number 2, you've got not really a lot of results here for either team to kind of speak on to. I mean, for LA Thieves, all of their search and destroys have been tremendously close. The difference maker, though, has been Scrap. He has come through when the team has needed him most. A round 11, round 10 win against the Atlanta FaZe. We talked about that earlier from Atlanta's point of view. They had a round 11 loss to Cloud9 on Vault, but they're coming off of a very convincing win versus LAG where Scrap really did take over.
And that's the thing, is that they are finding a lot of success, even though it's all the way at the very end of these search and destroys, in those round 10s, in those round 11s, with a brand new roster. That's the scary part about this. Opening dual win percentage sitting at 11th, attacking overall number 1. Defense at number 8, but they still have an overall record of 3-1. They just have playmakers, even in a man-down disadvantage, still able to clutch up on these rounds. But it's not going to be easy going up against this Minnesota Rocker squad. I'm telling you, they are phenomenal in search and destroy. Obviously, they got the new man, the new Iceman in Minnesota in Paul X. You can now not allow him to get active early on.
You got to remember, Paul's been around the league. He's been just about everywhere. He is the traveling man of the CDL. So let's see what kind of experience that he'll help this Minnesota team on. Again, a very young squad overall. Scrap will kick us off for first blood down B Street. Focus for the bomb, though, is fully on towards A. But the thing about this is you have to keep Gio behind to make sure you can watch this pinch.
Scrap just absolutely beamed Paul X all the way across the map for that first blood. And now he takes that side of the map away from Rocker. It's a little bit of a sound cue that something fishy is happening over towards Gold. Can he find the kill? No, Gio gets the better of him, 3v3.
And you got this top useless position plus Nero over towards Art. So Estriel's going to get the bomb planted. We've seen this already. You plant at B, it is extremely difficult to retake. There are just so many angles that Minnesota can watch this from. But Estriel, with an SMG in hand, will opt to play this from the bottom side at Art. Nero has backed all the way over towards P4. LA Thieves looking to break through the middle of this.
Hey, this is probably impossible, though. 30 seconds, you have all Minnesota Rocket players playing different corners on your mini-map, and they all have an angle on the bomb. 20 seconds left. These have not yet to locate anyone.
But Estriel, I was going to say, Envoy trying to make a proactive play by just hopping it. Not going to happen. Estriel gets the timing on the peak. Hydra Just too much to deal with. So here you go. First blood onto Paul. Doesn't make much of a difference. The play through pool in towards bottom vault leads to a plant that LA Thieves cannot retake.
Yeah, right there, the Thieves, though, they have to be quicker on their decision-making. They're realizing, okay, Scrap finds that first loader towards B Street, and now he pushes up towards Gold. Even though he falls, we're all sitting around A and poolside, and there's no noise on this side of the map. If we give up that bomb plant on B, you see how difficult of a retake that can be, because there's so many different angles you can watch that site from. It's a perfect play from Rocker and the man disadvantage to take round number 1.
And it's just an interesting adjustment call, because like we talked about, you lose Paul on B Street, you got to keep someone behind to make sure there's no pinch coming around the backside.
Yeah.
But once you get through A cleanly, that turns into, oh, okay, we'll just use that as a chance to wrap over towards B. Thieves, a little bit of aggression over towards the catwalk areas, as Minnesota just full flying right down middle. Scrap's gonna get a solid read at this, but can't deal with Geo on the slide across. What an opener for Minnesota, a flawless round 2.
Oh, they are in sync, man. They are in sync. They use the pre-nades to open up that middle map area. And once they dominate that, then they realize, okay, they're not in A. The bomb's not down yet, so let's just send it through the back of their spawn. And they find all 4 kills with ease and also catch the player going on that pinch. Minnesota Rocker not making any mistakes, even in the 3v4, already up 2-0.
Liking what I'm seeing. And there's something about this team, like you said, it's a scrappy team. It's a team that doesn't really feel like it has much to lose. So, like, you lay it all on the line. But you look at all the individuals and the teams that they've played on over the course of the last, we'll say 3 years, largely 2, if you're taking the average. This is teams that have grown the most over the course of their years in the CDL. So you have to think that with these 4 players, a chance to kind of showcase that again is once more Bomb taking a very unorthodox approach, just playing in towards the midpoint, now moving over towards A, which is wide open.
Yeah, this is sort of the mind games right now in these, because they're expecting this match to be a lot more fast-paced, but once that bomb goes down at A, how do they try to find success on this retake? Envoy's realizing there's no one over towards pool. You guys are going to set up this pinch, and he's trying to time this pinch on the opposite side perfectly, but unfortunately gets nothing.
Could be another flawless round here for Minnesota. Ghosty, the last one left. 1v4 would have to come through. Deals with Nero cleanly. Paul gave it an effort, but backs away, knowing that numbers will likely just win this round outright, and that is indeed the case. Oh my goodness. This Minnesota team playing with some confidence.
And it just keeps on starting with taking mid-map away. Once you're realizing, okay, we have vault coverage through that bottom drop down. We don't have to show any presence over towards water, because if you're the opposing team in LAT, you're expecting someone to be watching that angle, not to be open for free when they're working that bomb plant. But Minnesota Rocker just picking them apart one by one, slowing down this S&D, speeding up at the points where they need to. And now they're up 3-0.
Lots of comfort built in. When we start to see tallies of 3-0 this quickly, you can start throwing some curveballs in the mix if you want to just try to keep this Thieves team guessing. Hydra, the rest of LA, try to play up top towards the hallway. You hear the RCXD already on the way over. Dives across. I don't know if it actually saw Hydra. Now it does. Has to be blown up. And in that moment, Geo finds first blood deep towards B Street.
And now in the man advantage for Rocker. You can take your time on this retake. Narrow strikes first, though. Is able to take down Hydra. 3v2 now.
Astro trying to follow up from the same position, topside pool. Envoy has been traded. This is just down to, can they find Ghosty? Paul is in the area. A couple of shots come through. No worries there. Easy kill. Little bounce off of it. And Minnesota, you want to talk about slaying presence. You've got 5-0 for one player, 6-0 for another. I think they've lost like 4 kills in 4 rounds.
And it helps when you're finding that first blood again all the way across the map. This time it was Geo getting the better of Scrap over towards B Street. And at that point, if you're the rest of the LA Thieves players who was showing a lot of presence over towards pool, you not have to worry about your flank. And that's a lot of flank that you have to watch. So you don't want to try to rush that objective. And then when you think about that objective, Minnesota Rock are already in a position to contest it. This is just great search and destroy from this young roster, man. They are slowly but surely picking apart the Thieves one by one and playing their numbers to perfection.
I don't even know if you could say slowly. This has been as fast as we've seen.
I guess those B Street fights, yeah, first 5 seconds, yeah.
And now you got Geo and Estriel, who are really dangerously close to earning an early Hellstorm, which could just put this game out of reach. Bomb on the way over towards A. Ghosty watching through pool, able to catch the first blood. Geo's still holding over towards backside palms here, though. So if the Thieves try to push through, they may make contact, but not to be. Scrap finds the kill. Now 4v2. Estriel deals with the first point of contact. Follows up with the second. He's done his job. And look at Paul. He's going to rewrap behind all this. He may have an angle. Stun. Nade at the ready. Opening shots do not connect, but again, Does he have a spot to just watch the bomb from being defused? There's the frag. It connects. Shots from Ghosty, though. Oh, a bold challenge, which he wins. And the Thieves will get on the board.
That's a big play right there out of Ghosty. That nade comes in and almost puts damage into both players. Scrap could not go for that double chow because he was one shot, but Ghosty with the confidence to just fly on out, win that one-on-one versus Paul. I thought when Estria find out double, that was already be job well done because Paul X, like you said, had the stun, had the nade in the back pocket, just not expecting the ego chow out of Ghosty to finally put one on the board if you are the Thieves. I know if you are Nade Shot, you probably want to take these guys back to S&D school. Like, what they doing, man? I don't know.
It's one of those things that, yeah, I think you're absolutely right in terms of like kind of setting the trend and setting the pattern. Minnesota on both sides of the bomb, you know, early through the first 4 rounds found so much value through the middle of the map. Lately, we've seen Thieves really putting a lot of attention towards top catwalk, over towards marble side. And this time it's just the more traditional, let's just flood through pool, have someone sit behind and wait, keep Scrap alive. And Geo with the RCXD once again is trying to get to work clearing out mid, but the Thieves are fine with this.
Driving around, trying to play for the info. Unfortunately, cannot find that kill. Because now with 30 seconds left, Ghosty, your turn to drive around the Autobot. We're going to work our way right back into the site, and you got to get past that.
Yeah, but the problem is, someone snuck around the back. That was Estriel. He finds the elimination. Now Nero can just hop. Last gunfight comes the way of Scrap. He's got to go, and he's got to go quickly. Already past the halfway point, and Scrap is not going to go back to check. So what looked to be kind of a botched RCXD initially from Minnesota, a worse one gets played by Ghosty as he gets caught unaware by Estriel, and the follow-up eliminations are perfect from Rocker.
Yeah, that's just such a great RCXD right there out of Geo. Even though it doesn't get a kill, you saw how much ground he was able to take away, at least force the repositionings out of Thieves, and that allows his teammates now to get pushed up on the map, take that map control away from them. And when I initially saw that round, they were playing real slow, and it was due to the fact that Estriel did, with that double in the previous round, pick up that Hellstorm. So
yeah.
Now Minnesota, with the success on the retake, put themselves at game point. Got the Hellstorm in the back pocket. Screw it. Let's just go B.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Opening nades just to see if they can contest over towards the catwalk, but you're absolutely right, Jay. There's the Hellstorm immediately afterwards. Now that they know the trophy is placed over towards the bottom side of the map, you put it into play, you get a read on where everyone is, and you should immediately hop on for the plant. Who can contest this? You've got Ghosty over towards Art. A couple of shots from him, but he does not find the elimination. Nero dancing with Envoy, gives time and space for Paul to get back into the mix. And woo, Minnesota, hot and saucy here on the Vault Search and Destroy. You blinked, you missed it. 6-1 tally, and Thieves can't believe it.
Yeah, nah, Thieves stood no chance on that Search and Destroy, man. We're talking about these rounds slowly but surely starting to develop. We're getting first bloods in the first 5 seconds on both sides. But the man disadvantage, the game plan was just simply a lot better from Minnesota. Early into these rounds, it was the aggression to take the map away from Thieves, to have them on their heels on these offensive pushes. When you have a team that's being so aggressive, especially on the defensive round through middle of the map, and you're thinking, okay, let's just drop into A, let's plant that bomb, let's play our setup around that. It's just Minnesota Rockets said, who cares? You guys can do that. We're just going to push right up the middle. Because I know not all 4 of you guys are going to be in this site. A pinch is going to be open. And when they always are finding that initial first kill, look at that. That's 5 first bloods compared to 2. That was just textbook Search and Destroy. Obviously, Estriel dominates. When you drop a Hellstorm, that's bread and butter. Geo goes 8-1. Paul X started off the map hot, but it was just basically right off the round number 1. You can tell the game plan was a lot better from Minnesota Rocket. They were just a step ahead in that S&D, able to tie the series up at 1 with great plays from start to finish.
Lots of focus, I think, on using utility early to gain control of that mid-vault drop down, and that worked out really nicely. So Minnesota, a lot of life in the lungs, trying to extend that map number 1, almost able to get it through the finish line, and then no breaks on the Search and Destroy as we head back to the desk at a 1-1 count.
It's a scary Search if you're an LA Thieves fan, in Minnesota really just taking control bright and early during this Search. Can we talk about Estriel? What a terrible week 1, and what a bounce back here in week 2.
Yeah, I mean, even the respawns in their match prior to this one, he was balling. And in that Search and Destroy, I think people can learn a lot. I was having a conversation with some COD people talking about RC cars and how people use them. Using them early in the round was one side saying it was bad, it's not good. Well, I think Minnesota just gave the league a crash course on how to use them early in rounds. You take space, and that was sort of the narrative. Even in the rounds without the RC, Rocker were not afraid to get up close and personal. And as soon as the guy on the island dies, like the retake becomes that much easier. And that's what they abused the entire time against the LA Thieves. What a great search and destroy from Minnesota. Now 1-1.
7-1 from Estriel. Gio is right behind him, 6-1 to break out things in game 2. But, you know, things are tied up.
Wait,
1-1.
we can't
draw some conclusions.
No, not yet. Listen, he's been giving us gifts all day, so we got a couple. Listen, be careful with this one, all right, buddy?
You guys shouldn't have.
It's not double wrapped, you know. You should be able to get it in one go.
Well, this is more for Chris or for the people at home. Oh, here we go. Young Christopher Puckett.
20-year-old relic. Can I draw some conclusions for y'all? I know some of you are about to take your senior pictures. I highly suggest the gamer stance. Put the elbows right there on the power thigh.
Yeah,
Distant, 90-degree angles. Girls, it drives them wild.
All right, we have one more for you. We have one more. You
Thank
get
you.
2. You get a special 2.
absolute
Careful,
lock
careful.
gamer stance, by the way.
What is it? Shake it, baby.
Wait, what is it?
Number 1 host.
That's my
Oh,
host.
thanks, Alley Cat. You guys are the best.
Now we'll draw some conclusions.
All right, let's draw.
I guess if we have to, oh my gosh, I almost took it off the thing. Let's hop right into it. It was hard in that first map, you know, because there were so many good moments, but I think this route really solidified it for me on the side of, let me get the right one for us. Hold on, this is Carolina Royal Ravens. This is not the right series. This is not the right series either.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, technical
This
difficulties.
is going to be the right
We might
series.
have to pop back out. We're going to get there eventually. We finally got there. All right, we're drawing conclusions. We're going to follow a route taken by Hydra, the French phenom. So in this situation, we're going to go into the mini-map and we're going to take a look. Clearly, LA Thieves are going to be in control right now, but there is a lot of pressure coming in from the front, and this is near the end of the game. We're talking 190 to 223. LA Thieves can win off this, but Minnesota Rocker is looking for this break as well, and the next point is going to be on this side, so they're in a favorable situation if they can get LA Thieves off this time. Hydra realizes this. He's going to get a kill. His teammates are still battling on the point, but he takes a risk, and he's going to go all the way through the middle side of the map to try and catch all of these players from Minnesota Rocker off guard. Now what this is going to do is he's going to push up into stage while they are still trying to pressure and keep them off the time. Not only that though, but because there's nobody in the back, he's going to secure spawns for next as well. So we're gonna let this rock and see the crazy play that Hydra went to go ahead and make sure LA Thieves got the win on hardpoint.
Yeah, it was big because they picked up a bunch of time there, right? So they picked up a bunch of time, could have potentially won off that. Obviously, the ending of this game is extremely hectic, but if he doesn't make this play, then Minnesota does. They would have ended up closing it out once we get to that next rotation. So huge play by Hydra. They got to clean up a couple of small things in hardpoint though, man. They weren't lying when they said they've been playing sloppy.
Did he end up going 0-7?
Who?
In search and destroy?
That's okay.
Just trying to balance things out, everybody. 1-1 is the score at the end of halftime. Coming up next, we got Protocol Control. Haven't seen this a lot, but we saw some yesterday.
Yeah.
Expectations from these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, Hydra's going to go berserk. If he gets in their base with an SMG, gets up top their building, you can go up and down the zip and just terrorize them. So look out for Hydra.
Study, can Minnesota steal this series?
Oh, yeah. They got the #1 control player in the league right now in Nero, 1.4 KD. Him and Hydra are going to have a battle, so they can definitely take this control because obviously neither squad has yet to play this protocol.
Yeah, man, I'm glad that you point out Nero in particular because at moments throughout last year, he was, I think, the linchpin for success, you know, when this team was finding, you know, good moments. And like you said, control, he's really found it. And a team that, like, again, we talk about their respawns overall, it's been like, no one's really standing out here and there except for the control and except for Nero. So, yeah, I really love that call out. 1.42. He's also first in kills per 10 minutes, damage per 10 minutes, and attack KD, which is something that on Vault seems difficult to do. So, you talk about slipping the net and getting behind enemy lines, look to Nero to see if you can kind of match pace with Hydra for sure.
Yeah, man, getting lost on a map like Protocol, especially as an SMG, we know how difficult it can be for all my ranked players out there. When you're the team on the attack, you're in hell if you're spawning on the backside and they're already pushed up in your spawn because they could just literally spawn trap you every single time. So the Deaths hit on it, I hit on it. The battle between Nero and Hydra, that's going to be fun to watch on Protocol.
Yeah, indeed the case. So we'll see who finds favor there, or will there be other arenas that will dictate how this map goes? Again, we've only seen it once, and Well, candidly, we watched Vegas play this map against Toronto. Those teams are what I would say maybe not necessarily on the same page. So see how this one goes, as it will be Estriel already up through the zip line, expected by Scrap, and the Thieves will find the first couple eliminations. Paul, the only one to find an opener for Minnesota, and he will quickly be denied as the Thieves will quickly get on to A.
That's such a heads-up play right there from Scrap, because Estriel drops down from mid-gun. He does not touch that B point, but you still get a read that someone has got to be flanking my zip. And now you got to worry about a Hydra already pushed out in towards Grandma's as that first segment is about to come in at A. You kill the player that's working that overextension. All the map being dominated right now by Thieves.
Yeah, this gets really dangerous really quickly, although a nice recovery moment as Paul finds 2. That will clear off both zones. Envoy has to kind of wait for his teammates to come off spawn, and as he does, Estriel finds him completely by surprise. So now the Thieves in a little bit of pieces, kind of staggering their way across the map. Minnesota finding some decent movement over towards at least the Thieves building, but Scrap has found a key 1v1 and wins a second versus Paul to get the second tick of progress at A.
Second segment in, but you still have at least a couple players. One player in Minnesota still roaming in your spawn. Geo finds the timing with the SMG. He puts down a couple shots onto Scrap to set up the team fires between him and Nero. Now you just got to get someone back on that A point if you are the Thieves. The nade, the gun, everything good for Estriel. That's 3, almost 4 dead. Last player alive is dead, Ghosty.
Estriel sliding over. Ghosty at range will fall. Does not get that last tick. So A will still stay open. As now all of a sudden, you've got Minnesota just playing the chalk it and rotate mode, just trying to get some high ground control, kind of forfeiting the A zone. Little Turner from Geo nearly snaps to Envoy, but damages him enough to at least keep LA Thieves playing a bit more reserved as they try to approach B.
Oh, and they finally in this 2 kills through top mid, so they already have bottom comms, bottom bunker area in their favor. Ghosty, unfortunately, is going to fall in that position. Now Minnesota able to reinforce for now over towards that B Street area, but they're currently down by 3 lives. Geo needs to find a couple spawners.
Timing good. Geo will catch the first for free. Ghosty didn't get the comp for it, or was focused at least on a long-range battle, and now Geo is just running circles in your spawn. Oh, mercy. This is why we don't see a lot of protocol. Geo off 5 in a row. Little slip and slide nearly takes down Scrap, but the double comes through. 7v6. Look at the lives. It very well may be dictated by who outslays who.
And you got to think about how much time Thieves are going to waste just checking all the corners, working out of their base. As now Estriel trying to set up on this pinch on Spiral, puts that guy 1 shot, but more focused on just playing his life, hoping that his teammates can pick up those kills on the back end. Nero finds a double. Estriel, your turn to strike. No more respawns for the Thieves. 6v3, 30 seconds.
And it's another one of those openings to a respawn where Scrap starts off dominating from the break-off. It's just a follow-up after that, not fully there. You kind of mentioned it at given moments in time, whether it be over towards A or in these last moments towards B. It just, again, it's so hard to find coordinated hits on this map because SMGs are always running around behind you. Moment here, though, Envoy able to catch a couple, say maybe if he wins one more 1v1, he could get a first tick of progress at B, but now it's just down to Scrap. Trying to play out the 1v4, and Nero will hit his Semtex to keep the defense strong.
And that's Minnesota, even though they gave up 3 segments, just dominating the map control, man. That's all it simply came down to. When you're the team on the attacking side, and you're basically wasting a lot of time working out of your spawn, trying to clear all your corners in towards bottom 10, and then you're allowing Geo pulling out an SMG to just roam in your base, catch 2-piece after 2-piece, you're not going to have a good time. That's going to be Minnesota securing that first defensive round. Now, can the Thieves do the same exact thing? This time, probably not allowing those 3 segments to get away from them at A.
That's, of course, the goal, but even if you allow it to be matched, the trouble spot on this map has always been that B control point. It is just so difficult with the amount of high ground that plays around it. Of course, you've also got the ability to play through comms, that bottom bunker area. It's just, there's so many things you have to watch. You have to take advantage of favorable kill feeds. And it'll be Paul to start things off for Minnesota. Nero trying to find vacancy to get on towards A. A push up from Estriel allows them the freedom to do so. Plus Geo, playing from the top side of their windows, will find Hydra. So now you can just focus on the front, but Scrap will take Minnesota off the zone, forcing Estriel to come back.
Yeah, big kill from Scrap to win that one-on-one on the A point, and at the same time, Envoy worked his way through bottom Spiral to relieve that pressure at that A site. That first segment is about to come in. You have all of Minnesota though, roaming around top mid. Nero on 2, almost makes it 3. But Minnesota currently up by 3 lives, make it 4, and Estriel on 5 in a row.
Lots of damage over towards Envoy as well, so he will not be able to challenge. And it looks like for the Thieves, they are fully focused on playing this over through field side. up through the zip. Geo, he was there with some decent timing, but Nero off the pinch, able to at least put some damage in and keep the A zone safe. 25 plays 19 in favor of Minnesota, and 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock with Estro working towards a Hellstorm on the corner. Hydra trying to pistol him away, but Scrap will eventually put Estro out of commission.
But a lot of time to work if you are Rocker. You just cannot allow someone to minimize those lives by spawn killing you a couple times. Thankfully, a player like Paul X able to catch a double off the respawn. And now look at your mini-map. Look at the route that Geo is hitting. He's trying to set up this pinch on the backside of tower to spawn him even deeper from this B point. This might be the opportunity Minnesota were looking for, but Hydra and Scrap shut it all down.
Yeah, they clear out the zone completely. A little bit of patience here from Minnesota, but Scrap right through the ladder. Finds the elimination. Now Ghost is in your spawn, but quickly dealt with. I like this. Little pause here from Minnesota. Make sure all 4 players can come off spawn before we get a little bit too wild towards the B zone. Hydra just playing for contact on spiral stairs, and he's going to find 2 players, and that's just bad COD timing from him. Minnesota keeping things level. 15 plays 11, a little bit of a life lead, but the focus is how do you get onto the zone?
Yeah, a minute 15 to go when you're currently up by 3 lives. If you are Rocker, you can slowly but surely turn this game into TDM because you have a lot of time to work with. Geo snapping onto Hydra. Out the window comes Estriel, and now Minnesota on the point.
How about this Minnesota Rocker team? Scrap trying to keep things together for the Thieves, but head on a swivel. Almost finds an opportunity to lock onto Nero, but the double comes through, and now it's an 11 playing 4, and Nero is just slipping and sliding all over the map, back over to the zone. Nero around the back, trying to make sure the Thieves cannot get here with any defensive pressure, and he's going to get the 4 in a row off the top rope. Give him 5 in Minnesota, all over this protocol control.
Yeah, Thieves are just not having fun, man. Every time they're coming off spawn, they're thinking, oh, their bases are covered, but they are still missing 1 guy. And it's Geo at points with the SMG getting it done, but you know the best control play that we have in the game is going to put himself in the best play. Is Evines 3. The stack comes in. Minnesota Rocker up 2-0.
Stunned, you would have to think, are the LA Thieves. This Minnesota team has been hard to really put a finger on. I think a lot of it is, again, because of the history they've already been able to put together. A couple of round 11 heroics to get them through a couple of squads. A round 11 loss to Cloud9, which, again, a small mistake. Maybe gets that to a map 5. Hard to say. But this Minnesota team is looking every bit of real at the moment, as they will go 2 for 1 in the opening here in round 3 of the control.
You already have a player in Estriel in towards bottom spiral. He's just waiting for his teammates to give the calm before he decides to strike. Now it's go time. You find that first kill onto Hydra. You find a double onto Scrap. Ghosty, can we get out the damn window? No, he was not trying to. He finds a double with all the mishaps that was happening as that first segment is getting worked on.
There we go. Dan's starting to heat up a little bit. A slow first 2 rounds for him, but now off on 4 in a row. Clear space for Scrap to take care of the A zone and get right onto it, you would think. But Estriel, again, what is it about this Minnesota team where it's like, oh, it's a 1v3 situation remaining, and the one player for Minnesota just keeps things mixy by finding these surprising doubles, but still the Thieves went out in the kill feed. First tick of progress looking likely.
And finally, they have map control with no one in their spawn, but they are not watching that overextension. It's going to fall into the hands of Hydra. Has to watch multiple angles. Thankfully, he catches the timing on the Estriel, and he still knows there's still pressure going to be on him. Tucks himself in the corner, and I'm telling you, Paco is just unreadable with what he does on the map.
Thieves starting to turn up a bit here. Third tick of progress on the way. Minnesota looked like they want to try to play this through their building, and the nade over the top will work, but the focus for the Thieves is already rotated. They're trying to get over to B. Hold on a second. It's a 20 plays 16, but the clock is becoming an issue as that third tick at A is being fully depleted by Estriel.
Now Scrap's trying to locate where the hell did that player go.
Unreal.
And the rest of Minnesota are just working on the D cap. Only 30 seconds left. You want to trade effectively around this mid-map. Somehow, someway, Hydra finds himself on 6 in a row. But the trade is there. 20 seconds left. Thieves got to go.
And this is one of those moments, again, just take a look at the minimap. The Thieves are just going in 1 by 1. These trades and these doubles are not enough to get on towards one of the zones. 14 plays 10. Paul through the middle of the map. Has a 1v1 with Envoy, which he wins. 9 seconds remaining. Minnesota, they are right on the precipice of 3-0ing the Thieves on the control and taking the edge of the series. The next breakthrough for the Thieves. Get on towards the zone. Hydra saving the day. Maybe more at range. Envoy trying to keep him safe, but he gets pushed off the zone. Paul, can he step in to contest this? He tries to, but the extra 60 is tallied, and the Thieves have a 4-life edge.
Oh, now Minnesota have no more respawns because they use all that they had to try to end that game in 3. But now with the time being extended, this is where Hydra can roam. This is where he can start the slay, throw the stun out, catch the timing, watch it go left. Omni movement too good. 1 player left in Estriel. This is looking like a Thieves round.
And he's bottom bunker, and it looks like the Thieves know exactly where he is. Okay. A bit of a saved moment for the Thieves coming out of Hydra. 3 consecutive lives where he was just a difference maker, but still the fact remains Minnesota are still looking pretty comfortable, especially considering that they almost put this away 3-0.
Yeah, you gotta be feeling nice if you are a Rocker. Curious to know how many segments LA was able to complete there, because obviously the capture comes in at A. Just don't know if they were able to get anything done at that B point. But thankfully, you got players like Hydra able to catch miraculous 2-piece after 2-piece to keep you alive in that round. So now is the Thieves' opportunity to go on the defensive side. They just have to get aggressive. You need to account for everyone and not lose track of anyone, because once they lose track, it's very difficult to locate where the hell that player went.
Yeah, it's just so much map to play around. Estriel holding off for a moment. Paul finds first blood towards Scrap. Thieves largely stacking from the bottom side of gun, and Estriel's just going to head to bunker. And this may be a full B break off here for Minnesota. They're already on. The read towards Hydra starts to come through. He slips away, still alive, and Ghosty will follow up with not 2, but 3. A full wipe, but Nero off spawn will get right onto A immediately.
Yeah, Minnesota get those close spawns over towards that A point. So how many nades are the Thieves going to invest over the top of that building? Envoy strikes for the first. Estriel, unfortunately, is going to fall. Geo, your time. Can you find anything? No, that's 3 dead. And now this is where the Thieves can put their foot on the gas. Keep them in their spawn as long as you can. Hello.
That's exactly what's coming through. Hydra off the double tries to gain some separation to delay the 1v1 with Geo, but the trade is out. And here we go again. Minnesota just not moving until all 4 members are up. Just try to teamwork out these key positions. Envoy playing over towards locker doors. 3 members of Minnesota there. It's costly, but Minnesota will get a little bit of breathing room. I say that with hesitation because the Thieves are now hitting over through B field, and they are just all over your spot, and woof. That's all you can say about this right now.
Yeah, chat, this is why we don't really see a lot of protocol, because all pro players can do this to pro players. It's very difficult to work out of a trap. As now with only 25 seconds left, not a single segment earned on this round. Minnesota gotta get a move on it. You do not want to be on another attacking round, and it's looking like Ghosty might be the decision maker.
Unbelievable. From what was a couple of seconds away from possibly a 3-0, we could be staring down the gun of Minnesota, having to go to a 5 offense, but the kills do come through. 6 seconds flat on the clock. Full eliminations come out. Again, the tick progression is what we're looking towards here. It doesn't feel like this is going to be a super winnable round for Minnesota, but they are finding a couple eliminations. Second tick gets locked. Working on the third is Estriel. He needs help, though, and he needs it badly. These will clear the point. Can they get back over to touch for this third tick of progress? Paul finds 1 kill. Pistol out, but can't get there in time. And all of a sudden, from what looked to be possibly a 3-0, the Thieves are going to have the advantage in round 5.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have the heavy advantage in round number 5. As they are going to be the team on the defensive end. Not any segments earned right there out of Rocker, and I think it comes off to this breakoff. Like, we know how difficult it is to work over towards B. There's so many different angles you have to account for, and then keep in mind, if you're pushing a lot of players on that B street, all of your 10-sided all through A, and that flank is wide open. Just when you allowed Ghosty to find that 3-piece through bottom bunker, and then you basically couldn't leave your spawn after that. Minnesota are feeling it now.
Well, I don't anticipate we're going to see that same break off again.
Hell no.
No, we won't. Not. Little double stack over towards the top windows. Hydra looking for a quick route around the side, but he gets concussed, cannot quite lock over towards Nero. Even trade. Envoy around the back through spiral stairs. Now he's getting to work for the high ground, but Geo shuts it down. Still alive somehow. Figured he would have been surrounded at this point, but he's still up and active, and a couple of kills come through. And hold on a second, off spawn, you've got Minnesota on the B zone all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're not really working for B, though. They're working on getting pushed up into kills. Like, they just want to put themselves in a position to find a couple of spawners and not work in their base. So now with 2 kills going in favor of the Thieves and Ghost, they're already top Windows control. Just makes it a little bit more difficult for Minnesota to work out of their base. But Estrio with that double, now you can go to B.
And these are the individual moments that we've been craving to see from Estrio after his performances at times last year. Kind of a late addition into the league, was in the running for a moment about the Rookie of the Year award. Paul controlling B stairs. Loses his compadre over towards the B zone itself, and yep, you see it. Thieves all over the zip. Will stop Rocker once more back into their spawn.
And Rocker gonna waste a lot of time, and they don't have a lot of time to play with, checking every single corner to try to work out of their spawn. Ghosty has been alive for about 3 minutes. We only have 1:30 every round in control. I don't know how he's still alive towards top window to try to locate where the hell did he go. He already jumps out towards mid gun. 20 seconds. Steve's looking like they're gonna steal this map away.
Yeah, there's just desperation mode here for Rocker. They're trying to stop the clock over towards B. First tick is done, second on the way. But again, look at this angle. I mean, how do you fight from down here? May not need to. Paul's doing the work up top. And now you got progress happening on both zones at the same time, but Envoy single-handedly clears off the B zone. Geo, last one left remaining. Keeping the clock paused at 14.3, but he has to win this one versus Ghosty. He does so cleanly. Rocker trying to get out of spawn. Envoy and Scrap in their way. Back over towards the A zone. Second tick being worked on, but it's just so damn hard to get it through the finish line. If you keep going one by one, the pressure on spawn maybe just a bit too severe, as Envoy's going to cut back across and make sure no one can get back over to B. Last hope for Rockers on the A zone.
There comes Envoy. The deciding factor right here. You know that he's on your pinch, but you get a teammate from him and Scrap. That's all for that. Thieves smiling at the end of this one. They steal that one away from Rocker.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, we are mere ticks on the clock away from a 3-0 Rocker and a 2-1 edge of the series. But the composure and the cooler heads prevail to allow for the pop-off. And I think it starts with that guy top right, by the way, because Hydra's the one that saves that third round. Like,
oh, yeah.
We're about to be loading into map 4 with Rocker feeling super confident, but all of a sudden that gets shattered and the Thieves find themselves an edge in the series.
And that's got to be a dagger right there if you are the Rocker, man. You got to try to shake that one off with ease, because you were literally 4 to 5 seconds away from closing this one out 3-0 and putting yourself up 2-1 in the series. But the Thieves are never out of it all the way until the very end. It was Hydra, like you said, in round number 3 to keep them alive, but then Ghosty was the turning point factor. The fact that he was almost double negative in the beginning of that game, and towards the middle half of that game, the final 2 to 3 rounds, he just started taking over. Staying alive in their spawn, ends the map 32 and 27 with 4,200 damage. That's how you get it done out of your main AR.
Big time. 23 non-traded as well on top of that. And again, that's coming off of what was a very slow first 2 rounds from him. But again, it's one of those maps that we haven't seen much of in official play. And I think we're starting to learn a little bit more about why it's just so difficult. I mean, with the zip line, you go from basement to top of buildings in the blink of an eye. And well, it's just one of those maps that can be so difficult from the offensive side in particular, just to get out of spawn and know that you're safe to approach these zones. And Rocker, unfortunately, just a couple of seconds away from having an edge. Now all of a sudden have to load into a map 4 against the best hardpoint team in the game.
Yeah, on a rerun as well, that they have yet to play as a roster. Obviously, you're getting reps in on the back end in practice, but the Thieves have played this in official matches, and they are currently sitting at a 2-1 record with the one mishap coming versus Atlanta with that insane comeback towards the very end. But like I said, for this Rocker squad, losing the way that you just did, you got to shake this one off quick, because like you said, they're going up against the best hardpoint team in the game. It was a slow start in that map number 1, and they started to fight back to keep it close towards the very end. You just need to have a hot start here if you are Minnesota trying to force that game 5.
Absolutely the case. Skyline Search and Destroy would be there if we do get to it. A map that both teams have played, and about even results, all things told.
Yeah.
I think the thing, though, is, again, looking at this Rewind hardpoint, I think I'm thinking of 2 things immediately. The first is Thieves come out, they absolutely smoke Cloud9 in their opener, and we're sitting here like, holy cannoli, these guys are dangerous. But then you get to Atlanta's matchup, and honestly speaking, like, outside of Cell popping off on that last hardpoint, I think Thieves are thinking back, like, saying, oh, we probably should have won that map as well. But till this point, they have played a pretty difficult stretch. I mean, the Cloud9 was, I think, just, again, a surprise that they didn't come out as hot as they did, but staving off an Atlanta FaZe bounce back. They still have Optic on their schedule, a very mixy Miami Heretics team. And then by the time we get to January 26th, Jay, that Boston team could be absolutely for real.
I love that Boston roster. I don't know what it is. It's probably because I hear Nameless in my ear the entire time. Giga, Purge, what a dynamic duo. They have just been able to put it together since last year. Keep in mind, they might be a new roster this season of the CDL, but the way that they ended last season at EWC, they were turning heads. And now they have found themselves in situations where they are playing a lot more consistent. Snoopy in year 2 or year 3, he's playing his life a lot more. He looks like a completely different player, and everyone in sync. And then you add a player like Cammy, who's looking like Cold War Cammy from back in the day. I love that Boston squad. But back to this series we go. Minnesota. Look, they just got to bounce back here, man. I know it's very demoralizing after that control. They're going up against probably the best team in the game in Thieves, in their best mode in Hardpoint. But with backs against the wall, sometimes it's when you perform at your best. And I think the one guy that I'm really going to put a lot of focus on a map like Rewind is like, it has to be the ARs. We know that Estrio or Nero at certain points in this game will pull out that 3rd or 4th AR for some of these money hills. But that P3 to P4 chain is going to be dominated by the ARs, so it needs to be the AR presence on both sides.
Absolutely.
To shut it down.
Yep, 100%. So, okay, things to keep an eye out for as we're loading on in. A mixy team in the Minnesota Rocker. Can they find a way to get this to another map 5? They've seen it a lot. For the Thieves, though, talking back to their narrative after their last series saying, we're trash. We didn't figure it out. They're not trash. They're very good, but they want to be better. So what will they provide here on a map that they have already shown to be one of their preferences? As it will be, again, Los Angeles spawning on in and already diving on into DVD. First 2 eliminations are here. The breakoffs have continually been great for LAT.
Minnesota Rocker, they were playing super slow, not trying to flip those spawns, but thankfully the 2 players that stay alive on the opposing side, they find those kills, and now they have a natural pinch developing around this P1 area, and still Thieves spawning all the way across the map. So Minnesota work their way on in, still a good chunk of time to fight for as they find every single kill in the feed, and they also have their rotation over towards New.
It's one of those situations, man. This Minnesota team is just against all odds. I mean, they get completely thrown away off the opening breakoff, but off the respawn, right back into the mix. Pretty much a dead tie game, and then the trends start to move a touch. Moving towards P2, Minnesota holding the edge on the minimap, and they're still finding success over the scrap. It's just, how do they keep getting away with this?
Yeah, this is where the Thieves need to rally together. They need to stop relying on so many individual one-on-one routes. It's not working because right now the teamwork from Rocker, the crossfires being set up has been too much so far in this map number 4 as they have the spawns for P2. They're controlling that back. They find that pinch kill onto Hydra. Now all their focus on the front end, and they are still lighting up that kill feed.
Yeah, the AR is really coming to life to make sure that pinch stays safe, plus reducing this hit from the front. Oh my goodness, Gia, what a start from him. 7 and 4. Nero, Semtex over the top, able to keep him in the hard point and reduce this LA Thieves hit largely, except for Scrap around the back, who gets completely caught unawares. Nero in the corner, able to line up a handful. Estriel deals damage to Hydra, and Nero is all over it. 4 in a row, and all of a sudden Minnesota have blown the lid off this game with a huge early lead.
And this is where the Thieves got to now fight their way back on in. You need this P3 to P4 chain. Nero starts off with that first kill, and you can already see what it does to the spawns as Estriel flies over the water, catch a double of his own. What looked to be Thieves winning a rotation, they get instantly flipped on their head. And now Minnesota continuously running up that score.
Yeah, Gio also putting some damage in on the cross. Paul, knowing that Envoy likely going to be playing over through the DVD area of the movie store itself. Estriel stuck on the dumpster. Good help from Nero. The isolation is perfect. The numbers continue to find ways to get to where they need to go for Minnesota. 85-22, and the Thieves are reeling.
You cannot allow Envoy to be the game breaker, but it's already job well done. He finds one on the pinch, everyone else through the front end, and at the same time, the Thieves are still so good at that P3 time, able to flip these spawns on their head. And now Minnesota have to work their way all the way across the map to try to find a break on one of the most difficult hills that we have this season.
Great read from Estriel. Keeps this middle of the map largely in hands of Minnesota, but we head over towards New. Spawns are less than ideal right now for the Rocker. A chance here for Thieves to dig into this deficit, if not potentially take the lead as we open up the beeper store. But right around through dumpster side, no one's even watching that. Minnesota's gonna get around the back. Does this block the spawns? Not fully. Thieves will get a couple of members that are nearby, but the crossfire setup is still so damn good.
Oh.
Minnesota wipe the floor, get the break, still 35 seconds to fight.
Yeah, that's a misplay right there, the Thieves. You have the spawns. You only have Ghosty watching mid-street, and that's the main focus of this hill. You cannot have 3 players stacked on the backside watching the overextension through office. You have to put your focus on mid-street, and they just walked right through the front door, able to execute a break and now continuously run up that score. Still 20 seconds to fight for. The entire kill feed is purple, and Minnesota currently can do no wrong.
Look, Jay, I'm going to make just a little hot take right here. Minnesota may not have any particular individual that's going to take over a map, but these guys may teamwork better than anyone else in the league right now. They are hitting everything together. They're isolating perfectly. The help has been so good. And the macro game for Rocker continues to pan out as they will get a little bit of help here from Envoy's team nade to possibly break on in towards Jens.
And Minnesota now setting up the pinch from every single angle. Narrow starts it off with the AR, but there's more players from the Thieves still surrounding this P5 area. That now leads to a clean 4 dead. 35 seconds, a lot of time that Thieves need to get themselves back into this game, and they have all their angles cut off as well.
1v1 shuts down the pinch on the scrap. Ghosty has to hold from right on the front doors. 4 in a row for him. Still tagged up, cannot get the regen. Nero Semtex opens the way. Hydra steps up and makes sure that Minnesota does not get any sort of a break. He also reads the play over towards P1, and all of a sudden Hydra's gotten active. And once he does, he doesn't just get active. He takes over. How about 3 in a row as LA right back in this game?
And this is where the Thieves could turn this game on its head. It's your now opportunity to soak up a lot of this P1 time and chain it over towards P2. But with those couple of kills coming in favor of the Rocker, they flip. Now they're spawning over towards Burger. Thieves just got to hold strong on a tight setup.
Hydra still off 4 in a row, gets his 5th. Working towards potential Hellstorm, especially as this hard point opens up. He may get that extra objective score, but he's been seen over through Laundry. And that'll be enough for Minnesota to isolate, find the kill, and now they can focus on the front. Scrap just hoping he picks the right angle here, because there is just not any information to be gained with this current setup. It's all about just receiving the hit, and so far the Thieves are receiving it beautifully. Geo, the only one left alive, and that might be all you need. Geo gets 3. Envoy has to hit the deck for cover inside the hard point, and here come the Rocker with numbers off their respawn.
And with Geo finding that 3, it at least secure the spawn for Rocker over towards the new hill, but Thieves get 2 players to spawn over towards Burger and instantly are able to reinforce their way back on in, with Hydra now finding a double off the rotation. Still 2 players from Rocker playing it super slow on the backside of Yellow. Big kill coming in from Nero to try to maintain it until his teammate spins from the front.
Yeah.
But this is basically a tie game.
Yeah, Minnesota just had no awareness that this pinch was coming through Burger because the first hard point was still active, so you don't get a read off of where the spawns are from your teammates. And now a chance for the Thieves to completely crack the code. Geo, finessing, still alive somehow. How is Geo still alive? Paul's trying to follow up on this, but has to take a bit of a beat. Thieves, nicely, comfortable in the backside of this hard point, still spawning close. The little slide through, though, as Paul is able to get himself 2. Ghosty can't shut him down. Paul's done more than enough damage to allow Contest to come out, and Geo will secure a small break from the front.
25 seconds still to fight for, and if you are Minnesota, that might have been your last hoorah at that one. Is now you're more focused on not allowing any players from the Thieves to slip on by, potentially flip these spawns. Paul X with the awareness, able to catch a double, gonna slide, slippery side, trying to turn and bird onto Envoy, but he's not gonna run into you. Even though the Thieves take the lead, Minnesota win their rotation over towards New, only down by 9.
Yeah, what does Paul find here through glass?
Big kill.
And they do not know that Ghosty's around the back here. This is a huge moment for the Thieves, and yeah, every single elimination comes through swiftly. Your exclamation was perfect, Jay. A massive opening shutdown from Scrap at range allows Thieves to flip the spawns and get the hill at the same time.
And this is where it gets scary because Minnesota have not had an answer for the last 2 to 3 hills. LA Thieves guns getting a little bit warm. Game plan is now starting to develop. They are currently up by 20, still in control of the spawn. Scrap, unfortunately, is going to fall at that Burger area, but that's why everybody else has an AR in the back pocket. Just continuously sit in towards dumpsters and soak that time.
Hydra nearly able to come around the backside of this play to shut down Minnesota completely, but Now an opportunity for Rocker with numbers to try to get in from the front. Envoy pistol out, cannot secure the kill.
Oh, no.
Deep nade limits this approach though from Rocker, still trying to secure some sort of a flip on the spawns. Next hard point over towards the right as we head back over towards the beepers once again, and the Thieves will get all 4 members in prime position to secure this opening time.
Yeah, and now the Thieves make their adjustment. Now there's 2 players watching that mid street, including the guy on hill. You have a player at Ghost, he puts up towards courtyard. You're watching the overextension. No one can get by you. As Minnesota need this break, but I don't know if it's going to come in. It's already been 15 seconds uncontested. Ghosty flying around mid-courtyard is going to fall. And with that double, Minnesota got to go.
Yeah, they shut down the players towards street, but they cannot catch Scrap off the angle backside of the windows. Spawn still good for Thieves, and that will supply the support that they need perfectly. Street still in control though for Minnesota, which is going to be the venue for how they set up this continual break attempt. Team Fodder once again coming through. Scrap just trying to stay alive as the Thieves continue to spawn up behind this play, and the patience will pay out. It's a virtue after all, people. Thieves well in control of the map now, 220 to 152.
Basically a full 60 on this P4. Now only needing 20 seconds to close out this game. Minnesota Rocker have to play picture perfect from this moment on. Find your kills over the rotation. Make it easier. Nero starts it off.
Huge help right there. They're going to have the awareness that Thieves are still spawning behind the old time. However, do they get a read that Envoy is setting up this long route? They know now because he's been able to secure an elimination. Here comes the full-on pinch, and the break is simultaneous. Minnesota have to play this through Zig, and it needs to find success immediately. Paul, Nero, first couple eliminations are good. Scrap one, last one left alive. Nade cooked up. Trophy system gets placed, though. It keeps Minnesota safe, and they're going to get all 4 members in here, Jay. Just comes down to can they get the trade onto Hydra? They do. It's a Nixie fight as the contest continues to be alive, but Scrap, oh, he's turning up when it matters most. 3 in a row. The pistol coming through. Geo trying to play heroics once again, and Minnesota are still in this.
They're still in it. They're still fighting. Trading effectively in towards Gens. 56-point difference. Now you have a timing flank onto Nero. Can he find at least one? But the turn and burn from Scrap too good with the pistol. Now a 1-and-1 in the point. Hydra's able to win that one. 12 seconds needed from Thieves to close out this series. Minnesota, you gotta make it perfect.
Small moment here. Again, a bit of an unread spawn, but Scrap right through the courtyard breaks down Minnesota, leaving them with just individuals, and Scrap is teeing off on them. 3 in a row. 5 more seconds needed. Stuns his glass. He's got the read that Minnesota are spawning over towards courtyard side. The rewrap back. Wow, little turn. Doesn't quite get credit for the kill, but it doesn't make a difference. The Thieves adapt perfectly and secure the series in 4 maps.
What a turning point of that hard point on the second half of those hills, man. We're talking about the Thieves getting blessed with a spawn over towards Burger. Minnesota could not read it. They walk away with the final 25. Then they chain it over towards P2. At that point, Minnesota give up the final 20 seconds to set up at P3. And the first 2 gunfights go the opposing way. All the pressure on the backside. You instantly spawn all the way across the map. It was just the Thieves flipping the switch on the second half of that game, and they started winning those insane gunfights with those ARs. The pressure was applied not only through the subs, but as well as the assault rifle players. And just once they were able to make the adjustments from that P3 to P4, not allowing Minnesota to just walk right through the front door, that was going to be a GG's, man. They're the best hardpoint team in the game. They make the adjustments on the fly, and they dominate in that map number 4 to close out the series in full.
Yeah, Scrap goes massive in those last handful of hardpoints as well. And you can see the flip. As soon as we got to that second rotation of hills, it just looked like the Thieves were kind of getting themselves into that full machine. All 4 players aware of what they needed to do, just not getting caught individually. And you can kind of see the dejection on the faces of Minnesota, the little surrender serpent there for a couple of players. They know that this is a series that not only could have gone 5, this was a winnable series for them. Could have 3-0'd the control. Definitely could have possibly won this map right here. And you can see it's just one of those moments you're going to look back on and say, look, we had these guys. We can fight with these guys. This is a key moment for Minnesota early in the series to know that, hey, let's learn from that. Let's grow from that because we're right there hanging with the top teams in the league.
Yeah, and a good saying that my old friend Rambo Ray always tells me is that winning is teaching and losing is learning. The fact that they just played probably the best team that we have in the CDL so far this season, as tight as they did, you're going to go back and look at this like, okay, that's one mistake. We changed that. We could have taken map number 1. Okay, on the control, one mistake.